If you love quick and tasty meals, this is about to be your new favorite. Welcome to Ask the Life and Intimacy Guru, a calm space where we talk about love, desire, emotional closeness, marriage, relationships, and the quiet problems couples often carry in silence. Today's question is simple on the surface, but very painful underneath. My partner loves me, but never opens up emotionally. What should I do? This is a situation many people understand. You may be with someone who is loyal, who comes home, who is responsible, who helps with bills, remembers practical things, and says, "Of course I love you," but still something feels missing. You are not asking for drama. You are not asking for a perfect partner. You are asking for emotional closeness. You want to know what they feel. You want to understand what is happening inside them. You want to feel that when you speak, they are truly listening. And when you say, "Can we talk?" you do not want them to disappear behind silence, jokes, irritation, or the phrase, "Everything is fine." So let us begin with today's question. A woman writes, "My partner and I have been together for 4 years. He is a good person. He is loyal, caring, and responsible. He helps me in practical ways. He checks if I reached home safely. He does small things for me. But whenever I try to talk about feelings, our relationship, our future, or something that hurt me, he shuts down. He says, 'Why are you making this serious?' Or 'Everything is fine. Why do we need to talk so much?' Sometimes he changes the topic. Sometimes he becomes quiet. Sometimes he says he is tired. I do not think he is a bad partner, but I feel like I am in a relationship with a wall. I want emotional closeness. I want to know what he feels, what he fears, what he dreams about, and what he needs from me. He says he loves me, but I do not feel emotionally connected to him anymore. Am I asking for too much? What should I do?" First, let me answer this clearly. No. You are not asking for too much. Wanting emotional connection is not weakness. It is not neediness. It is not being dramatic. It is one of the most basic needs in a healthy relationship. A relationship is not only about staying together. It is not only about paying bills. It is not only about being physically present. A relationship also needs emotional presence. And emotional presence means I can speak to you. I can be vulnerable with you. I can tell you when something hurts. I can ask for closeness without feeling ashamed. I can be heard without being dismissed. But here is where we must be careful. Your partner may not be emotionally closed because he does not love you. He may be emotionally closed because he does not know how to enter that space. For some people, emotional conversations feel natural. For others, emotional conversations feel dangerous. When you say, "Can we talk?" you may mean, "I want to feel close to you." But your partner may hear, "I am about to be blamed." When you say, "Tell me how you feel," you may mean, "Let me understand your heart." But your partner may feel, "I do not know what to say, and if I say the wrong thing, I will fail." When you say, "We need to discuss our relationship," you may be asking for connection. But your partner may feel pressure, fear, or panic. This is how many couples get trapped. One partner reaches, the other retreats. One partner asks for closeness. The other becomes silent. One partner feels rejected. The other feels attacked. And then both people start protecting themselves instead of reaching for each other. This is called the pursuer and withdrawer pattern. One person becomes the pursuer. They say, "Talk to me. Tell me what you feel. Why are you so distant? Do you even care?" The other person becomes the withdrawer. They think, "I do not know what to say. This conversation will become a fight. I will disappoint them. If I stay quiet, maybe this will pass." So the more one person pushes, the more the other person withdraws. And the more one person withdraws, the more abandoned the other person feels. That is when the relationship becomes painful. Not because there is no love, but because there is no emotional bridge. Now let us understand something important. Love and emotional skill are not the same thing. A person can love you and still be emotionally unskilled. A person can be loyal and still avoid vulnerability. A person can care about you and still not know how to comfort you. A person can want the relationship and still feel afraid of deeper emotional honesty. This does not excuse hurtful behavior, but it helps us understand the behavior. Some people grew up in homes where emotions were never discussed. Some were taught that sadness is weakness. Some were taught that anger is dangerous. Some learned that silence keeps peace. Some were never asked, "How do you feel?" in a safe way. So, as adults, they may know how to work. They may know how to earn. They may know how to solve practical problems. They may know how to be responsible, but they may not know how to sit with emotion. They may think love means duty, but their partner may need love to also mean presence. This is where many couples misunderstand each other. One says, "But I do so much for you." The other says, "Yes, but I still feel alone." And both may be telling the truth. So, what should you not do? Do not start with accusation. Do not say, "You never talk. You are emotionally unavailable. You are like a wall. You do not care about me. You are impossible." These words may come from real pain, but they usually make a closed partner close even more, because now the conversation feels like a courtroom. And when someone feels they are on trial, they usually do not become tender. They become defensive. They become silent. They escape. Also, do not begin these conversations late at night, during an argument, or when both of you are tired. Timing matters. If the goal is closeness, the conversation must begin in a way that feels safe enough for closeness. So, what can you say instead? Try something like this. "I want to talk about something important, but I do not want this to become a fight. I am not trying to blame you. I miss feeling emotionally close to you." Sometimes, when we avoid deeper conversations, I start feeling alone in the relationship. I want to understand you better, not attack you. This kind of opening changes the emotional temperature. It tells your partner, "This is not punishment. This is not a trap. This is not an attack. This is an invitation." Then ask better questions. Not, "Why are you like this?" Instead ask, "When I bring up emotional topics, what happens inside you? Do you feel pressured? Do you feel afraid I will be upset? Do you need more time to think before answering? What kind of conversation feels easier for you?" These questions create space. They do not guarantee a perfect answer, but they make honesty more possible. Now, here is one practical step I recommend for couples like this. Create a small weekly emotional check-in. Not a 3-hour conversation, not a serious interrogation, just 10 to 15 minutes. No phones, no television, no multitasking, no blaming, no long speeches, just 3 questions. Question 1. What felt good between us this week? Question 2. Was there any moment where you felt distant from me? Question 3. What is one small thing we can do next week to feel closer? That is all. Simple, but powerful. Because many couples only talk deeply when something is already wrong. By then, both people are already tense. But when emotional check-ins become normal, they stop feeling like emergencies. The relationship becomes safer, and emotional honesty becomes less frightening. Now let us talk about love languages. Some people express love through words, some through actions, some through protection, some through physical closeness, some through planning, some through responsibility. The problem begins when each partner only recognizes their own language. One partner says, "I told you I love you." The other says, "But I need you to show up emotionally." One says, "I work so hard for us." The other says, "But I need to feel seen." One says, "I am here, aren't I?" The other says, "But I need you to be present, not just nearby." The goal is not to decide whose style is right. The goal is to learn each other's emotional language. A mature relationship asks, "How do you give love? How do you receive love? How do you feel safe? How do you feel appreciated? How do you feel close? These are not small questions. These are the foundation of intimacy. But there is also an important boundary. Patience is beautiful, but endless emotional starvation is not healthy. You should pay attention if your partner always dismisses your feelings, if they mock your needs, if they refuse every serious conversation, if they make you feel guilty for wanting closeness, if they use silence to control you, if every attempt at emotional connection is turned back on you as if you are the problem. That is not just emotional difficulty. That may be emotional neglect. A loving partner may struggle to open up, but they should still care that you are hurting. They may not know how to respond perfectly, but they should be willing to try. So ask yourself, does my partner find emotional conversations difficult, but still show willingness to grow? Or does my partner make me feel wrong for needing emotional connection at all? That difference matters. And if this pattern keeps repeating, couples counseling can help. Not because your relationship is broken, but because sometimes two people need a safe third person to slow the conversation down. A therapist can help one partner speak without attacking, and help the other partner listen without shutting down. Sometimes individual therapy can also help, especially if emotional avoidance comes from childhood patterns, fear, shame, anxiety, or past hurt. Seeking help is not failure. It means you are taking the relationship seriously. So here is the deeper lesson. Emotional intimacy is not created by forcing someone to talk. It is created by making honesty safe enough to enter. But emotional safety does not mean silence. It does not mean pretending everything is fine. It does not mean avoiding every difficult topic. True emotional safety means, I can tell you the truth without being punished. I can hear your pain without collapsing. I can be imperfect and still loved. I can ask for closeness without being called needy. I can say I am scared without feeling weak. That is what many couples are really longing for. Not just conversation, connection, not just words, presence, not just problem solving, understanding. So, to the person who asked today's question, you are not wrong for wanting emotional closeness, and your partner may not be wrong for finding emotional conversations difficult. But love cannot stay healthy if one person is always reaching and the other is always hiding. Start gently, speak clearly, ask better questions, create small rituals, notice effort, set boundaries where needed, and seek help if the pattern keeps hurting both of you. Because a relationship should not feel like two people sharing a home, but living in separate emotional worlds. The goal is not to force your partner to become someone else. The goal is to discover whether both of you are willing to build a bridge. Thank you for watching Ask the Life and Intimacy Guru. If this episode reminded you of your own relationship, share it with someone who needs a softer way to begin a difficult conversation. And remember, love is not only staying together. Love is learning how to reach each other. This video is for educational and relationship awareness purposes only. It is not medical advice, therapy, or professional counseling. If you are experiencing ongoing relationship distress, emotional abuse, anxiety, depression, trauma, or relationship crisis, please consult a qualified therapist, counselor, doctor, or certified relationship professional.